Welcome to the Speak Life Transformation YouTube channel. My name is Natasha. I'm a psychotherapist and a confidence mindset coach, and you are tuning in to lesson number 6 for lessons for authentic and purpose-driven living. So here we are at lesson number 6. And if you're here at lesson number 6, like I said, about 5, 4, and 3, and 2, if you're all the way down at this point out of 6 out of 8 lessons, that's telling me that you are loving what I'm giving, that what I'm giving is changing your life, that what I'm giving is helping you figure out what you need to do to start living your life unapologetically so you can be your best self and live your best life. And if that is all true, if that is all #facts, then I need for you to take a moment right now to subscribe to this YouTube channel. This YouTube channel is all about giving you wellness tips, mental wellness tips that's going to help you live your best life as your best self unapologetically. And so if you are into all of that, then this Speak Life Transformation TV YouTube channel is just for you, and you need to subscribe and share it with other people. Like the videos, check out all the other videos I have on this channel because they are life-changing videos jam-packed with awesome gems. But let's get into lesson number 6. Lesson number 6 is all about being smart with your goals. All right. Now, lesson 5 was helping you really think about if your goals even align with your purpose and challenging you to make sure that whatever goals you decide to have for your career, for your life, that they align with your purpose. And then even in lesson number 3, where we're talking about mindset, right? I challenge you to think about how thoughts like comparison thoughts, for example, can cause fear in you living as your authentic self. And all this connects because if you are, for example, comparing your life to somebody else's, then you could be choosing goals that's based on somebody else's purpose and life path and not based on your purpose and your life path. And if you're following somebody else's life path, then you won't be walking in your purpose and you won't feel fulfilled and you won't be able to really be your authentic self. And so as you can see, all these lessons connect, and this is no different. And so if you didn't do lesson number 5's challenge, I need for you to go back, watch the video for lesson number 5, because you need to know what your goals are and either to know how to make them smart. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to talk about how to make your goals smart. You may have heard of the SMART goal method. It's a very old, effective goal method, goal planning, goal setting method that has been used in all different types of fields. And for me as a psychotherapist, I use it all the time when I'm writing my treatment plan goals for my clients. And so this method I have been, raised on as a social worker, as a psychotherapist, and I found how effective it is in ways to make it intentional. It as in your goals, ways to make your goals intentional. So today I'm going to talk to you about how to be smart with your goals. Pun intended, like actually how to be smart, being intentional, right, with your goals, but also how to use the SMART method so that it can be smart. So let's talk about what SMART stands for when it comes to the SMART goal method. SMART stands for S is for specific, M is for measurable, A is for attainable, R is for relatable, and T is for timely. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what each means so that as you are moving forward with writing your goals, defining your goals, that you are able to make them smart and be intentional. Now, this is why I love the SMART goal method, because the reality of it is, if you are not being intentional with your goals, if you are not, writing them down, right, and setting deadlines and being specific with them, then it's not going to happen. One statement that I have said many times in my previous videos is dreams stay dreaming when they're only wished upon. A dream cannot turn into a goal if you're not being intentional about what you want that dream to become and what steps you need to complete in order for it to become true. You can have this dream, this idea of what you want in your life, and it will stay up in the clouds as a dream unless you bring it down to reality of what it is I need to do to make this happen, to make this come true. If you keep it as a dream, like, oh, sure, it would be nice if I had this, or, oh, I would love to be able to do this, or one of the things I want to do is this, period, end of discussion, and nothing else happens after that, then it's just going to stay a dream. But if you bring it down and say, this is what I would love to do, this is what I want in my life, and this is how I'm going to go about doing it, game changer. Even just me saying that, showing you the two different perspectives and the way you're talking about it, you can hear the difference. You can see one is just doing the first part of just imagining what you want, right? And it's stopping there. The second is doing phase 2, which is now being actionable about what we're going to do about it. It's starting to speak life into what it is that you want. So let's talk about each of these acronyms within SMART goals. Specific. Specific means that you are identifying how much and how many you want whatever that goal is, right? How frequently, how much, how often, right? Whatever that number is, you're putting a number to it. And that's how you're being specific with it. Measurable, which is M, means that now you're putting a measurement to it. What does that look like? The frequency, the intensity of it. So specific is the number. I'm just going to make up something. Like let's say I have a coaching program, right? And I want to have coaching clients. I can just say right there, I just want to have coaching clients. As you can see, it's not very specific. It's not measurable, right? It's just an idea, right? It's just a dream. I make it specific by saying I want to have 5, right? That's my specific. I want to have at least five clients. And then I make it measurable by saying either a deadline or a frequency or the intensity of it, right? So I want to at least have 5 clients every quarter. The frequency, I want to get 5 every quarter. And then we have attainable. So attainable is thinking about, whatever goal you set, can you actually reach that goal? Is it realistic? And some people will go back and forth about the realistic idea about, if I make it realistic, then I'm not thinking with faith and going beyond what is possible for me, or I'm going to lower the bar and not push myself. Well, that part of that is all being realistic. First of all, realistic in the sense of, are you being realistic about what you actually can do? So, for example, going with my example, I gave 5. Is that number realistic in a sense of, am I lowballing myself? Am I just picking 5 because it sounds easy? Or do I actually need to bump that up? Because realistically, I can really do more. I can really get 10. Or realistically, what I'm actually wanting financially, or where I'm trying to get my coaching career to go to, I need more than 5. So setting 5 is not a realistic goal where I'm trying to go, right? Or not realistic of what I'm actually capable of doing. Or the opposite, where you're setting a number, and is that realistic that you actually can get that number based on where you're at? Not that you can never get that, but if you're at a specific part in your life, phase in your life, whether it's the resources you have, whether it's the lifestyle that you're living, the time that you have, etc., is this realistic that you can actually go after this goal, or do you need to decrease it based on where you're at now? And then once you reach this goal, once you show that, okay, I'm capable of reaching this goal, I can do this goal, I accomplished this level, now I can bump it up to the next phase and increase the number. So realistic is not necessarily about lowballing yourself or not having faith in what you're capable of doing. It's really being honest with yourself. Is this attainable? Because if you aren't realistic about it, you're either going to not push yourself the way you need to be challenged, or you're going to push yourself too far that you're not going to be able to actually achieve the goal because you don't have the resources, you don't have the means, right, to actually do it. And you're not going to accomplish the goal. And then you're going to feel discouraged and not be able to be discouraging in your ability to even reach your goal in the first place. And so you want to make sure that it is attainable. R is relatable. I love this one. I think honestly, out of all of them, this is my favorite one because we don't talk about this part when it comes to goal setting. Relatable meaning, is it even meaningful to you? This goes back to what I was saying in lesson number 5 about making sure our goals align with our purpose. If you are setting this goal and it's not based on what is meaningful to you right now in this moment or where you're trying to go, right, then you're going to lose the motivation to even go after this goal. You're not going to have the desire, the drive to actually do it because it doesn't have the meaning that it needs for you to put the amount of effort you need to accomplish this goal. Setting goals requires effort. It requires determination. It requires perseverance. It requires motivation, right? It requires desire. And if it's not relatable, you're not going to be able to tap into any of that. And this is why it's so important to make sure that your goals align with your purpose and where you're trying to go in your life. Sometimes we set goals or we keep goals that we've had for years because we've never been able to accomplish it. And now we're at a place in our lives where I can finally accomplish it. And I'm keeping it because I've had it since I was 10, or I had it since I was a young adult, or I had it since I was in college. And you haven't really assessed to see, well, does it really matter to me still? Is it still important? Is it still relevant to where I'm trying to go? So R is relevant, relatable. The R can stand for either one of those. And so making sure it's still relevant because you may have outgrown the goal. Life happens, life be lifing, right? Life happens. And so your whole trajectory, your whole life plan may have changed, and that is okay. But you got to make sure your goals are catching up with you. You have to make sure your goals are keeping up with where you're trying to go and where you're at presently. And then the last one is T, timely. If there's no deadline, it's not happening. Let's keep it real. If I have this goal that says I want to have 5 clients per quarter, the end, and I have a deadline, then I could say to myself, well, by 2025, I'll get there. Or, I'll start it at some point. Or you forget, right? No, you have to have a timely, put a deadline on that. So I'll have 5 clients per quarter by December 31st, 2024. Or I'll have, let's see, I'm going to make up something else. I will make X amount of phone calls per week, right? So it could be an actual date. It could be a frequency, like weekly, daily, on a daily basis, 3 out of 5 tries, 4 out of 5 occasions, 80% of the time, right? Like those are that timely definition. So again, you want to make sure your goals are SMART: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant or relatable, T for timely. And when you follow that sequence, right? When you think of your goals and you write them down, you become so intentional. And then it has so much more purpose and meaning to what you're trying to do and where you're trying to go. And it forces you to think about, this is why it's intentional, because it forces you to think about when am I trying to reach this goal? And what specifically am I trying to get out of this goal? What do I specifically want out of this goal? What am I really trying to achieve? It's not just like this lofty goal, this lofty dream. You're now taking it from a dream, you're bringing it to reality, and you're making sure this is going to happen. In the ways of my Philly folks, this joint is going to happen. Shout out to all my Philly heads. And so be specific with your goals. Make your goals SMART, because when you make your goals SMART, you end up being smart with your goals. As always, subscribe to this channel. If you were like, Natasha, what's the challenge? I didn't directly say challenge. That's your challenge. Your challenge is the goals that you identified in lesson 5. Make sure you now be specific with them. Turn them into SMART goals. The goals you wrote down in lesson 5, go back to them, bring them back up, and now write them as SMART goals. Check out the show notes for all the crazy links that I have down there. You have one that's a freebie. That's going to be a video where you can have access. I'm going to add another bonus video, a bonus freebie, because at this point, if you're watching lesson number 6, you probably are like, Natasha, I got that freebie back in lesson number 3. You have another one? Oh, I do. I have another one. I have an email course, a free email course for 5 days. I will pop up in your email giving you strategies every single day that's going to help you live your best life as your best self unapologetically. So if you already have the video and you want another freebie, here we are. You can tap into the email course that I have that will provide you with specific strategies every single day for 5 days. And if you haven't gotten the video, hey, now you have 2. Click both and get both. They're talking about 2 different things, or different different types of strategies and resources for you. Check out my website, speaklifetransformation.com, to learn more about me and the services that I provide. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Speak Life Transformation, on Facebook at Living Speak Life. And as always, make sure you be bold, be safe, and speak life.